Welcome to the State of Football Show, your go-to podcast for everything football. I'm Hutch, alongside my co-host Trey,
Are we gonna do this or what?
and we're here to bring you insight, analysis, and a whole lot of football talk. On today's podcast, we'll be discussing, should an NFL team draft the best player available or a position of need? Should Titans pick a potential franchise quarterback or play safe with the best player, Abdul Carter? Biggest winner and biggest loser in free agency, Players Edition. Should NFL teams draft the best player available or a position of need? I find it pretty interesting. It depends on if the team needs a franchise quarterback or not. I'm a firm believer in the best player available in the early rounds of the draft, particularly round 1 and 2. And sometimes if the draft is deep, potentially round 3. And then I considered round 3 and below just drafting position need. I don't know if you have any thoughts about that or not. But
No, I actually agree 100% on that. I think you always take the best player available, despite whatever your needs might be. Uh,
yeah, I mean, I think there's plenty of good reasons to take best player available. It gives you roster flexibility. It allows teams to accumulate talent regardless of the position, and even potentially creating trade opportunities and unexpected depth. And obviously, it makes it easier on the GM avoiding reaching for players. You don't want to be that guy reaching for a less talented player just to fill a need. Of course, us living in Dallas, we know the infamous PJ Watt because he didn't fit in our scheme, which turned out to be absolutely one of the dumbest things. But you never know. We may never have had Micah Parsons, but
we could have never have had Zach Martin as well.
actually, that's a better point. That's future.
Almost, they had to pry the draft card out of Jerry's hands that said Johnny Manziel on it.
Oh, yes, the infamous. Yeah, I really lucked out on that one for sure. I guess, and also as far as drafting for positional needs, usually when teams have this type of philosophy, whether it be early in the draft or later, there is some decision making processes that I've found out. I didn't really know how these teams, I guess, grade their players, but they have what you call tiebreakers. When they have players with similar grades, positional can serve as a tiebreaker, which that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And they have value adjustments on these players as well. So some teams slightly adjust the player values based on the team needs. For example, multiplying quarterback grade by 1.2 for a quarterback needy team, meaning they have a little bit higher multiplier on that quarterback.
Yeah.
Obviously, how their current roster is constructed, teams consider their current roster composition, including player age, injury history, and contract status when making selections, which, we all live in the real world, so that is a thing in the NFL. So it's definitely something to consider if you don't want to give one of your potential aging players or just a player in general's contracts coming up. You may want to make the move then.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think that would make everybody's board a little bit different, I think. In some ways.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, let me try to give an example. I mean, I guess you even have Pittsburgh not wanting to give Najee Harris an extension on his contract. He ended his, I think it was a 4-year. Oh no, he was a first round, so he would have been a player option. 4-year, fifth year would be a player option. And they decided just to move along with him. And I'm sure they'll probably draft a running back in the upcoming draft for sure. Should the Titans pick a potential franchise quarterback, or should they play it safe with the best player, Abdul Carter?
Yeah, this was interesting to me because when I saw this in your as one of your topics, I was just curious. So you think Abdul Carter is a better player than Cam Ward? That's what I gathered from it. So I was just curious if that's what you're thinking.
Oh yeah, I think I don't want to say this is, in my opinion, a little bit of a weaker quarterback class. I don't
Yeah.
think compared to other classes, I don't actually think any of the quarterbacks are worth technically a number one. And I know that's kind of crazy to say because if you have the number one pick, you're hoping more likely why you're so bad is you need a quarterback unless something happened to your quarterback and got hurt all year.
Yeah.
Which typically I think teams trade down in that situation to get
Hmm.
more draft capital.
Yeah.
Um, but I think Abdul Carter came from Penn State, same place as Micah Parsons.
Also number 11 at Penn State, I believe, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
And I kind of think that lives in a lot of people's heads as, you know, the premier position is a pass rusher minus quarterback. There's always a high premium on those guys. I mean, Miles Garrett went number one overall, if I'm not mistaken. He came out of A&M. I don't think a lot of people were high on Micah Parsons when he came out, and the only reason I'm coming to talking about him is because he was kind of the most recent, I
Hmm.
believe. Not a lot of teams were high on him, but I think once he did come into the league and see the amount of damage he did on those opposing offenses, and then seeing Abdul Carter, he's kind of very, very similar. Some would even say better. He, because I know last week, I believe it was last week, we had talked, or just in general, us talking about Micah. He always, he, what does he do? He overshoots and then leaves the quarterback able just to move up in the pocket.
Yeah, he
Uh,
overplays.
yes,
He's too aggressive, and the running back, they can use that against him. They can run right at him, and
right.
yeah, he's out of position, or mainly just out of position, I guess.
Yeah, with Abdul Carter, hopefully I'm saying his name right. I'm pretty sure I am.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Um, he has the ability to do the same exact thing as Micah Parsons, but he is able to come back very, very quickly. And I'm talking I've seen a few, obviously they're highlight videos, so take what you want from them,
Right.
but he is completely flat. Like he is down so low and he just contorts himself and he is immediately on the quarterback. Like within a second. It's crazy. So he completely outruns the left tackle and he over pursues essentially, and the quarterback tries to step up and he's already taken the cut back up and he's pretty much laying flat like a table and he's already at the quarterback. And I'm not saying that Micah can't do that, but it's pretty
Yeah.
impressive to see a college kid do that already.
No, and I mean, there's a few things. I mean, a few things there. Micah played traditional linebacker in college, right? It wasn't until
Yeah.
the Cowboys ran out of edge rushers that we even put him at edge. So I don't know. I mean, maybe the way he was looked at, why he fell so low, is just because of his position wasn't edge. Coming out of Penn State, it was linebacker. But
Yeah, I mean that's obviously
I just
a fair
reading a little bit
point.
about Carter. I guess I didn't know that he was hurt. Did you know? Actually, I was reading on the ESPN. He didn't even know he was hurt. They found a stress fracture in his right foot that he didn't even know was there. And then I guess he's coming off some kind of shoulder injury as well. So he didn't participate in the combine this year. But I mean, it doesn't really matter. Most top picks aren't gonna do that anyways. But I
Yeah.
just I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying he's like we're kind of splitting hairs talking about the number one and number two pick. Like they're both going to be pretty good players. I just think when it comes to the Titans, I mean, they really need a quarterback. Will Levis was not good last year at all.
Yeah, he
And
definitely was not the player. They probably should not have done that.
no, and they need to get out of that. You know, I forget how long he's been in the league.
2 years, I think.
Okay, so they got some time, but I mean, I guess it's just kind of like, what are the Titans wanting to do? I mean, they have a lot of picks. I think I've read somewhere where they have 22 picks over the next 3 years.
Oh wow,
Um,
it's a
so
lot.
they got a lot. Yeah, they have a lot of picks. They could obviously trade back. There's a lot of. I think I saw the Browns, wanting to move up and get Cam Ward, so they could trade back and get more picks. But talking earlier about player versus position, I think in this case, I mean, really can't go wrong. Cam Ward is pretty good. He's the highest ranked quarterback coming into the draft, and
Hmm.
he's. Let's see what he did last year. Last year he threw for 4,000 yards, had 39 touchdowns, only 7 interceptions, and he
Hmm.
can has the ability to scramble when the play is kind of breaking down. He can move around, move up in the pocket, move to the side, and
Yeah.
get rid of and extend the play, which is, I mean, obviously a good quality to have.
Yeah, I learned a new term, kind of doing a little research on him. Mobile pocket passer.
Yeah, that's
It's
that's a
interesting.
good that's a good term for him because he doesn't rush a whole lot. He only had 204 rush yards last season.
Yeah,
So
has the ability to extend the play, which is nice to see.
yes, this is a good one. Is Cam Ward gonna turn the Titans around? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it's hard for one player to turn a franchise around, but if you're gonna have one player that does that, it's definitely got to be quarterback.
Yeah, yeah, not an edge.
As far as what I'm wanting them to pick, I think you have to select Cam Ward. I mean, if you look at
Hmm.
just history, I have a few little snippets that I kind of researched a little bit, and I called it reasons for drafting a quarterback over a skilled position player. We have drafting any other position player. Number one, rarely, if ever, changes the franchise like a quarterback will.
Yeah.
Looking at the past number one overall picks in the last 34 years, no position players have flipped a franchise and delivered a Super Bowl.
Hmm.
Now, granted, has been positional players that have been taken number one overall that have won a Super Bowl, but they necessarily haven't flipped the franchise, so to speak.
I mean, I think you mentioned earlier that Miles Garrett was the number one pick, and he
Mm-hmm.
certainly hasn't turned the Browns around.
Yeah, so let's see here. The skilled position players that have been taken number one overall. I'll go ahead and list them out. Russell Maryland, that was a Dallas Cowboy pickup. I think that was in 91 as defensive tackle. And we have Keyshawn Johnson, wide receiver. He won a Super
Oh
Bowl
yeah,
with Tampa Bay.
yeah.
Not for sure if you're familiar with him, but I am. Orlando Pace, tackle for the Rams for a long time.
I can't say that I am.
Yeah,
He
he
was
won.
picked number one, huh?
Yep, he was on that.
Offensive tackle.
Yeah, he was on that Kurt Warner team, the greatest show on turf.
Yeah, I
So
definitely remember the team. Yeah.
yeah, and then the last one is Eric Fisher, which he's a or was a tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs when he won his first Super Bowl. I think that was his only Super Bowl as well. But I also have a list of quarterback number one overall picks that were quarterbacks that are Super Bowl champions. Now, this list doesn't necessarily mean that that quarterback won the Super Bowl, but the list is a little bit longer, and I'm going to say some names, and you can tell me if the franchise changed because of him.
Okay.
I'm assuming that you could say that those other, while granted they're great football players, they didn't change the franchise like these players did.
So these are quarterbacks drafted number one overall, flipped the
Correct.
franchise, and led them to a Super Bowl.
Correct. Well, I don't. That's kind of loose about winning Super Bowls, but you'll understand here in a second.
Okay.
All right. So the first one, and this is in the past 34 years, so I didn't go back too far, which that would be 91, I believe. All right. We have Drew Bledsoe.
Oh yeah.
Won a Super Bowl, but he was a backup quarterback. That was when the Patriots first won against the Rams. We all know who the quarterback was for that team. Tom Brady. Little Tom Brady. All right.
That guy.
Yeah, that little guy. So the next one we have is Peyton Manning. He won multiple Super Bowls. You can say he definitely changed the franchise, perhaps even changed the NFL as we know it today. You know, you had the
Yeah.
nickname the Sheriff. Pretty
Yeah.
much
It definitely
didn't
took
have
him
to
a
have,
while, but
yeah. I mean, yeah, but he always had that pedigree to, they were always, the Indianapolis Colts were always in it, no matter, for the most
that's true.
part, no matter what.
Yep, that's true.
Couldn't even tell you who the offensive coordinator was because he's pretty much the offensive coordinator. All right, the second one, and this is a backup as well that won his Super Bowl, but David Carr. David Carr, if you remember, he was drafted by the Houston Texans.
Oh yeah.
I think he was the first pick that they had when they expanded to
I think
Houston.
he was their first quarterback. So
Yeah.
I got a little note about David Carr I'll bring up later, but
Okay,
that's funny
okay.
you mentioned that.
I believe I don't have it written down, but I'm pretty sure he won his Super Bowl, obviously as a backup with the New York Giants, and I think that was the team.
One of the Eli teams.
Yeah, obviously. I don't know if that was the comeback or the comeback one or the one where they beat the Patriots when they were undefeated. I don't
Okay.
really remember, but anyways, so the next quarterback is Eli Manning. So
Yep.
obviously, he say what you want about Eli Manning.
Hmm.
You know, he's got all the jokes, dumb face Eli, etc. But
Yeah.
I mean, when he was quarterback for the New York Giants, they were a pretty decent team for, I
Yeah.
wouldn't say for a long time, but they won it when they were good. So
Oh yeah.
you can't hate on them.
No, he was definitely a big part of it. I mean, obviously, but he was so good when they won those Super Bowls.
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
he could throw interceptions, don't get me wrong, but
yeah, my gosh, but he would make me so mad as living in Dallas as we do. Like, oh my gosh.
yeah. Then the next one we have is the most recent, and he's the last one on the list, Matthew Stafford,
Hmm.
Dallas's own.
Dallas's own. Yeah, man, that's a tough one there. I mean, he definitely changed the Lions, but I don't think they didn't more successful because of him, I guess. So
The
I see your
Lions?
point there. Yeah.
You're saying
What?
they weren't successful, the Lions?
Well, I mean, they never won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but I mean that franchise was terrible.
That's true. That's true. He was part of the 0-16. Oh, who was that coach? That 0-16 team that Rod Marinelli, when he's part of that team.
Probably, maybe. I'd have to look that up. Was that Rob Manninelli?
Yeah, that was definitely Rod Marinelli.
I have a feeling you already know the answer to that.
No, that's just coming from my extensive knowledge I
It's
have.
good. I love it. But with all that being said, I just think it's the best interest in the team to select quarterback number one overall. And
Mm.
obviously, it depends on a few things, but I think for the majority and the average, it's better just to go ahead and get the quarterback, unless you just want to trade down and get a better player. Yeah,
Yeah, and I mean, I guess to say my last piece, I think honestly, I kind of think the Titans might trade back. To be honest with you. I wouldn't be surprised, I guess, if they trade out that number one pick.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's kind of a
I
scary
don't know.
pick to have, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. There are some that don't work out, right? I think,
Tons of them.
yeah. So, but I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they do for sure.
And
And either one, Cam Ward, Abdul Carter, whichever one you get, you're gonna get a good player. That's for sure.
yeah, I don't think you can go wrong with selecting either one of those guys, but I think you're gonna have more scrutiny if Cam Ward does not work out. I think Abdul Carter will work out. Now, I don't think he'll deliver you a Super Bowl, which is
Yeah,
the whole point, but there's definitely going to be a lot of questions if they do, if Cam Ward doesn't work out. And then, you know, you just never know. Just never
yeah.
know.
You're right back in the same situation next season.
Yeah, but that's kind of part of it, you know?
Yeah.
All right, so we have biggest winner and biggest loser in free agency, and this is the player edition. So typically, people are biggest loser and talking about the teams, but in this one, we're gonna talk about the player.
That's right. Try to focus on the player a little bit.
Yes, sir. So Trey, who's your biggest winner in free agency?
So I like this topic. It was a good one. It had me thinking a lot. Specifically, the biggest loser. We'll get into that a little bit later. But for the winner, I kind of think my selection is going to be DK Metcalf.
Okay,
He
okay.
got 5 year, 5 year. I saw 150 million. I also saw five for 132 million. Not really sure which one's accurate, but one of them is. I just could not find out which one, to be honest with you. But either way, it's a lot of money. It's a big deal. DK, obviously, a really solid wide receiver, big physical guy, good hands, 27 years old, signed with the Steelers. Pretty solid team, I think, for next year. Obviously, quarterback's still up in the air.
Yeah, what are they gonna
Kind of,
do about that?
yeah. When I picked him, I was pretty sure that Aaron Rodgers was going to sign with the Steelers, but gosh, now today it's kind of looking like he might retire, but we'll
Yeah.
find out, I guess.
Is that the only team he has? Is the Steelers?
Rodgers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Yep.
no.
Yeah. The Vikings, obviously the Jets released him, and the Vikings said they're going with JJ McCarthy.
Mm.
And those are the only, I guess the Vikings were the only really potential landing spot I heard for Rodgers. But either way, though, DK got paid. Got paid a lot. One of the biggest, I think it is, this is obviously has a lot to do with the times. Was the biggest contract the Steelers have handed out to a wide receiver
Yeah, they don't
in their
pay people.
history. They don't. They don't. Do you know who the second on that list is as far
TJ
as wide
Watt?
receivers?
Oh,
Well,
wide
wide
receiver.
receivers.
All time or
Uh, just biggest contract, not like necessarily career earnings, but like biggest contract Steelers gave to a wide receiver.
I would have to say Antonio Brown.
You are correct. You are correct.
Nice. And I do have that total for you for DK's new contract. It's a 4 year, $132 million contract.
Okay. Okay. I had the years wrong,
And
but
that is, I think, 60 million guaranteed.
okay. Try to see what I had Antonio Brown's contract in here. Let's see. Yeah, in 2017 they signed him to a 4 year, $68 million deal. This blew that out of the water by a lot.
Yeah, that's obviously different times, you know.
Yeah, but career earnings, he's made 62 million so far in his career. So it's a nice payday for him. It probably be obviously the last big one he signs. He might get another smaller one after this, but still, like I said, a solid receiver. Last season, played 15 games, had 992 yards, five touchdowns, but he's never really had a lot of touchdowns, and I think that's mainly because he played for the Seahawks. They're mainly a run team, especially when they get down in the end zone, the red zone. They're going to try to run it in. I don't know. I think with Geno Smith being traded and Sam Darnold now the quarterback of the Seahawks, I think it was wise of DCAP to get out of there. Again, when I did this, I thought Rodgers was going to be their quarterback. So this could all just blow up in my face, and anyways. But he'll still be handsomely paid for his time with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and
Yeah, he's the biggest winner. He got a new contract.
got a new contract. Tomlin always finds a way to win, so he'll have some success there for sure.
Yeah, Tom is the king of mediocrity.
That's true. That's so true. But I mean, like I said, man, this is a good question. I liked it. It made me think a lot. I had to really, really research hard to find out who I thought was the biggest winner. But that's my pick. I'm curious to see what you got.
Yeah, the biggest winner that I picked is ironically another ex. Well, he's an ex-Steeler now, but Najee Harris. He obviously was with Pittsburgh Steelers for 4 seasons. He rushed over 1,000 yards each of those
Hmm.
seasons, and he has ironically never missed a game, which is pretty impressive for a running back. I do believe Najee needed a change of scenery. He had a interview recently with, I don't know what it was. It was one of those normal interviews that everyone's like excited because he's with a new team.
Hmm.
And if you don't know, he's with the LA Chargers now. He commented on how nice the Chargers facilities were. So I
Hmm.
guess the Steelers facilities aren't as nice. And that can be a negative.
Players vote on that every season. The nicest
They do.
facility. They really
And
do.
I think the Arizona Cardinals somehow had the worst locker room because there was holes in the carpet, which
Yeah.
is, I'm sorry, but that's insane to me. A NFL franchise has holes in the carpet.
Hmm.
Yeah. Anyways,
One of them, I don't know. It may have been the Bengals. One of them has vending machines in their training facility, and they actually make the players pay for the food.
I that was the Bengals, and I think once that came out, I think they took them out, or they made them
Okay.
where you didn't have to pay. I hope so. Maybe maybe Joe Burrow can chime in
Yeah.
on the pod
I
one
mean, they're
day and tell
they're
us.
making they're making millions of dollars, Hutch. They can pay for some snacks, right?
Yeah, I guess they don't have to, because I was sitting there thinking about it. I'm like, oh, they got to carry cash around and change, but no, they just have the credit card thing.
Hmm.
You just tap
Yeah.
it, tap pay.
But none of that at the SoFi facility, I'm guessing, or the Chargers facility.
Najee Harris.
One
Uh,
year, 2.75 million. Is that what?
yeah, it's
Is
a
that
one
what you
year.
got?
Yeah, that's a okay. Just hear me out.
All right.
Okay, this is not a money thing, Trey.
Okay.
Okay,
Mine was money. Yours is not money.
this is about the team and
Okay.
Najee feeling good about himself. That's what this is about. But the Chargers have had or needed a running back with his type of pedigree. And I don't know if you're familiar or not, but do you remember a guy named Melvin Gordon that
I
played for the
do.
Chargers?
I do remember that.
Well, guess what? He was their last 1,000-yard rusher. And I want you to take a wild guess on what year that was.
Melvin Gordon.
Yes.
Man, you're really testing my. I had him on my fantasy team, but gosh, when was that? Probably. I'm gonna guess 2015.
Oh, you were so close.
Mm.
2017.
So close.
Yeah. Did I say that
Well,
2007 or 2017?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. 2017. So Najee will be a key offensive piece for the Chargers. The Chargers ranked ninth in running plays with 47%. And for, obviously not everyone's a Charger fan. In let's see here, 2023 season, which was before Jim Harbaugh,
Hmm.
the Chargers running plays were at 40%, which was at the bottom 10 of the league. So they're very, very
Already.
bottom. I believe Jim Harbaugh wants to keep the pressure and potential injuries from his quarterback, hence
Hmm.
the heavy focus on the run attack, which Harris will benefit from. So
Yeah.
it could potentially lead to a bigger contract, maybe. And I don't have it here, but I believe he's 27 years old. I have
Okay.
to look that up, but I'm pretty sure he is 27.
Okay. I was wondering what. because Rico Dowdle got more in his deal with the Jaguars. So I was wondering what that, but maybe his age has something to do with it.
Yeah. So Najee Harris is 27,
Okay,
and Jacksonville, they just kind of overpay for players. So
it's
whatever.
also true. Also true. Well, yeah, I mean Harbaugh likes to run. Who was that? Who was their running back for those 49er teams? He played in the league forever.
Frank Gore.
Frank Gore, yeah.
You like that
Yeah,
knowledge? You like that?
I do that. Yeah, Frank Gore. That dude played for like 25 years.
Yeah, and guess what? He is boxing now, Trey,
Is he really?
and he knocked someone out. I don't know who it was, but
Oh my god.
he, man, that is a bad man.
Frank Gore box. I'm gonna have to look this up right now, live on the air.
And to make you feel really old, his son is in college
That does make me feel old.
playing football.
Well, of course.
Let's
What is it?
see. I believe it's running back. I think it's Frank George. Oh, he's actually already in the league.
What?
He plays for the Buffalo Bills.
Frank Gore Jr. Is that his name?
Yes, sir. Looks just like
Oh
his
my
dad.
gosh. I probably just thought it was a senior. I probably saw him and thought that was still Frank Gore playing.
Fortunately, it looks like he was released, Frank Gore Jr., but he is on the practice squad of the Buffalo Bills.
Hmm. Well, I'll be damned.
Can't hate on him. He made it, so
Okay.
say what you want. Anyways,
Well, yeah,
so yeah,
definitely good for the team.
yeah,
Definitely good for Najee Harris because he will be used a lot.
yeah.
And
I mean, they the Chargers have a solid offensive line, and I honestly I think he's gonna have a career year. Uh, hopefully, I hope he does well. I hope he gets at least 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns. And hopefully he gets a nice little maybe 2 or 3 year contract, maybe. That's what I'm hoping for him because he's been just consistent and has not somehow or another has not missed a game, which is pretty impressive. So I think a lot
definitely.
of a lot of teams appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually had that note for DK as well. He's been pretty reliable.
Oh,
He's
nice.
average 17 games per season in his career.
All right, Trey. What is your biggest loser in free agency?
Yeah, so this was a really hard. This is tough. This is a hard one to
Yes, it
figure
was.
out.
It was
I
for
went
sure.
through I went through a lot of different possibilities and scenarios.
And it sounds silly too.
Um, yeah, it does. It does because these guys play hard. They work really hard. Even if they're not that great, they're still putting in a ton of work. So
Yeah.
to say they're a loser is kind of, I feel bad for saying it, I guess,
Yeah,
because
it's disingenuine.
yeah, I'm all about the players. We could do a whole episode on how I think, you know, NFL players need to get paid so much more than they're making right now. It's ridiculous how much the league makes and how little the players get paid. But
Yeah, those damn owners.
I know. But anyways, this is not that episode. So my pick, he wasn't a free agent, but I think what free agency did to his team is going to make him the victim of it, I guess.
Okay,
So
I
I
like
picked,
that. I like that angle.
yeah, I picked C.J. Stroud. And
Ooh.
the reason I picked Stroud is they got rid of his offensive line. They and not that it was good to begin with. He had I wrote it down earlier. Let me see, he had a lot of sacks. He had 52 sacks last season. He was sacked 52 times, I should say. He was sacked 52 times last season, which is a lot.
That is a lot.
And they traded away Laramie Tunsil, who was actually PFF ranked him fourth best in pass protection, but they traded him. I can't remember where he went. I read it earlier, but I already forgot.
Tunsil,
Hmm.
he went to Washington
That's
Commanders.
right. He did. He went to the Commanders. They traded one of their guards, Kenyon Green, for C.J. Gardner Johnson from the Eagles. So the Eagles want your player. He's probably pretty good. They signed a few guys in free agency. They signed this guy named Laken Tomlinson. the son of LaDainian Thompson. No, I'm just kidding. He's not a son. He signed a 1 year, $4.25 million deal, and then they signed. I think this guy is a guard, Ed Ingram.
Okay.
Excuse me. So Ingram and Tomlinson. Let's see. Ingram ranked 150th and QB pressure rate allowed, and then Tomlinson ranked 100th, and that is out of 161 linemen in the league. So
Okay.
didn't really get much better at that position.
I was gonna say,
And
yeah, I saw something on Twitter about that guy. How terrible he was.
yeah, and they also picked up Cam Robinson, which he's not much better. I think he's pretty old at this point. I feel like he's been in the league for a long time, but he also rated. He had the fifth highest pressure rate allowed last year.
Cam Robinson is 29 years old.
Oh, okay. It's not as old as I thought, but
He has long
anyways,
hair now.
that's uh that's my selection. I think CJ Stroud is in for another long season. They did not do really much of anything to improve his offensive line, and he got sacked a lot last year, and he's probably going to get sacked a lot this year.
Mm. Yeah, I love that pick from you, Trey. You make a lot of valid points.
Yes,
I
I think
wonder.
that it was tough, but I got you know David Carr. I was going to bring him back up.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
David Carr sacked the most times in a single season, 76 times in 2002.
Oh my gosh, that poor
That was the
man.
record. Also, obviously, a Houston Texan, so maybe that's just what they do down there.
Don't protect your most valuable asset.
No, that not at all.
Oh, I am trying to find which team allowed the most sacks last year. How about you guess it? And it is a big city team.
Okay. Man, kind of want to guess. Oh man, I'm gonna say the New York Giants.
Mm. New York
No.
Giants are 11th on that list.
Okay.
It is the Chicago Bears with 68.
Wow.
Good luck, Caleb Williams.
Mm-hmm. Poor Caleb Williams.
And then second is the Cleveland Browns with 66.
Okay.
And then it appears the Texans and the Seahawks are tied at 3 with 54 sacks, according to this.
Okay.
I don't quite. Maybe there was a backup in maybe getting sacked too.
Yeah, because I
'Cause
have the.
yeah.
I don't think CJ played every game. I thought for some reason he had 16 games in this. Are we
No, he
gonna
had
do this or what?
17 on this one,
Okay. Okay.
but he could have got pulled because he had 52 sacks.
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah, that's not smart by the Houston Texans unless they draft somebody, which maybe they will. I don't know.
Yeah. They did pick up some picks in all their trades. Laramie Tunsil, they got some picks, and then Kenyon Green, they also got a couple of picks as well.
Uh, let's see. I don't even know where Houston is drafting. They're drafting 25th.
Mm. Well,
So pretty low. All right. Well, enough of that. All right, Trey. I have my biggest loser.
okay. What you got?
I want you to guess it, though. I want to make it fun. It's a quarterback.
It's Cooper Rush
Oof. No, it's
because now
not.
he has to live in Baltimore and
Whoa. Hey.
be Cooper Rush. I'm sorry.
No, sir, but it's pretty fairly close. Justin Fields, New York Jets.
Yeah.
And I mean, he got paid. I don't have his contract, but I do know he got some money,
Okay.
but I don't think his career is going to last much longer.
Being a Jet is not good for your quarterback career.
No, I think there is a saying out there, that's where quarterbacks go to die. It's very unfortunate because I actually like Justin Fields, and I wish he would have stayed with Pittsburgh. And I don't understand why they did not keep him.
Yeah.
But who knows? I
Or
don't know.
Russ. Okay. I mean,
Yeah,
we don't want to go back to the Steelers, but they could have kept Russ too.
I
I don't
know.
get it either.
Is this a Steeler podcast or?
We like the Steelers
I
apparently.
guess so. Must be
Yeah,
that nice
I looked
jerseys.
I looked it up, and he signed a 2-year, $40 million contract with the Jets.
Hmm. Yeah, that's right. I think you got 30 million guaranteed, something
I
like
don't
that.
have the G money in here, but
That's fine. All right. Well, anyways, so the biggest loser for me is Justin Fields. I feel bad for him. He was in a no-win position when he was in Chicago. They had zero offensive line. He
mhm.
was running around for his life the whole time he was there.
Yeah.
And then gets traded to the Steelers, who, let's be honest, their offense is not that great.
No,
Um,
but they he had a like he looked better with the Steelers. You know, as
yes,
bad as he looked in Chicago, he looked that much better with the Steelers. So I think that just kind of proves your point that the Bears were just a mess, and he
yeah,
didn't have a chance there.
for sure. Like you were saying, he started with Pittsburgh and he went 4-2 in his first 6 games, and then he got benched for Russell Wilson. I don't have his stats in those 6 games, but I know they weren't crazy. Like he didn't have uh, really good stats. I think he had like 5 touchdowns and 1 interception, but he was able to run the ball and get them in a position to win. Uh,
Yeah,
some people call that a bus driver quarterback, but sometimes, honestly, that's all you need in the league if you have a really good defense. So
yeah, for sure.
he got traded to the Jets, or not traded, but he got picked up by the Jets. And I believe the league will give up on him after he's been with 3 teams. The Jets haven't had a winning season since 2015, so I don't really see him turning that franchise around unless they really hit on their draft picks and their new coach. Just
Yeah,
changes the whole philosophy of that team.
yeah. It's because Rodgers. The Jets didn't do well last season, but Rodgers he still threw for over 3,000 yards, I think.
Yeah, he had a good season. Like down season for him, but a good season for most quarterbacks.
Yeah. So I think there's just some. I don't want to say big shoes to fill, but I don't know. The fans are gonna be looking for something better after the disappointing Aaron Rodgers experiment, and I actually know Justin Fields is gonna be able to do that for them.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he does. I hope I'm wrong, but the one good thing though is he gets reunited with his Ohio State wide receiver Garrett Wilson,
Okay,
which hey, that's another Lake
old
Travis,
friend.
yeah, Lake Travis High School Garrett Wilson. So
Okay.
got some NFL talent coming out of Lake Travis.
Oh yeah, for sure.
A little Baker Mayfield.
You ever heard of Baker Mayfield? Yeah.
Baker Mayfield. We're
Are we
gonna.
gonna do this or what?
There we go.
Oh, I'm sorry, I stole your line.
All right, Trey. Well, I got a few questions for you. And the first one is which NFL team has had the most number one overall pick?
Most number one picks in the draft. Let's see. I think the first one that comes to my mind, and I could be confusing, like who has drafted the most quarterbacks in
Mm-hmm.
the draft that have failed.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I'm gonna say Cleveland Browns.
That would be wrong.
Ah,
It's actually 2 teams. They're tied.
two teams that are tied. So I was wrong, man. I had better odds of picking the right one, and I still failed. Can I do one more guess? Can I throw one more out there?
Yeah, and I would like to note, the Cleveland Browns have 5 picks at number one. So you were close.
Okay. Okay. What's the number? Can you tell me that?
7.
Okay. 7 number one picks.
One is a big market team, and the other one is, I don't think it's considered a big market, but it's in the middle of the United States.
Okay. I'm gonna say Chicago Bears, maybe?
Mm.
No?
No,
Gosh,
no.
I'm terrible at this game. All right, what is it?
All right. The first one is the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, I never would have guessed that ever.
Yeah, it's kind of, and to be fair, 3 of them were when they were the Baltimore Colts, and then 4 of them were when they were Indianapolis Colts.
Okay.
So, and then the second one is the Los Angeles Rams.
And
And
they also had 7.
yeah, and that's kind of like the same situation. They were the Cleveland Rams at one point. They had 1 pick at number 1,
Mm-hmm.
and then they had 2 as the St. Louis Rams, and then they had 4 as the Los Angeles Rams. So
4 is since they've been the LA Rams, they've had 4 number one picks.
we have to remember in the '60s they
Oh,
played in
okay. Yeah.
LA.
Okay, I got you.
I think it was the '60s,
Okay.
something like that.
Do you I don't know, do you have their picks by chance or
Let's see.
I mean, I guess the ones that are really old, I wouldn't even know who they are.
Yeah, I don't want to go too old because Colbert Davis, running back out of Indiana.
All right.
That's in
Colbert.
1938, Trey.
Wow. They played football in 1938.
Yeah, they just ran it.
Just before the forward pass was invented.
Yeah. Let's see here. 1952 NFL draft, Trey.
Okay.
The player was Bill Wade out of
Bill Wade.
Vanderbilt. It looks
Okay.
like the times are changing. It's quarterback.
All right. 1-1.
Yeah. Let's see here.
With
We
a
have the
rookie
night.
deal of $57 a year.
Yeah. Oh, this one surprises me. 1960 NFL draft. The Los Angeles Rams selected Billy Cannon, running back out of LSU.
Billy Cannon. Really
Don't
should have
know.
been a quarterback with a name like that.
I know. Let me look at
What are we
him.
doing?
Oh, he's got the typical. You're gonna. I'll send it on the Discord. This I know
He's got a
you're imagining this like perfectly.
handlebar mustache.
No, even better.
Oh, gosh. Halfback.
Just looks like a man.
Look at that. High and tight.
High and tight. That looks like my grandpa, kind of. That's funny.
That, that man is 23 years old in that picture.
There's no way.
I'm telling you.
Did he get traded? What's going on here? That's weird. It doesn't show him as a LA Ram, but
He's a
that's
Houston Oiler.
yeah. What is that? I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Maybe maybe that's incorrect. I don't know.
What happened to William Wild Bill Cannon?
I don't know. Oh. Apparently in 1963 NFL draft, the Los Angeles Rams selected Terry Baker, quarterback out of Oregon State.
Okay.
See if this is accurate. Oh, it looks like a basketball player. He played for 2 seasons, Trey.
Okay. Didn't work out for them.
Yeah, but he won a Heisman Trophy. Wow. Don't fact check me on that because I don't know if that's true or not. All right. 1997 NFL Draft. You should know who went number 1 overall. St. Louis Rams selected Orlando Pace, offensive tackle.
Big Orlando Pace. Sorry, I was looking up Orlando Pace.
Oh, gotcha. And then 2010, this should be the Sam Bradford, if I'm not mistaken.
Let's say Sam Bradford.
Yeah, I don't have to look at that.
Got like $200 million in his rookie deal.
Dude, he's like he was before Kirk Cousins, man. He just made a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
And then in 2016, The Los Angeles Rams selected Jared Goff.
Man. I remember that Hard Knocks when he didn't know where the sun set or something. I can't remember.
It's crazy. That is the same draft that Laramie Tunsil got drafted.
Hey, that guy's good.
Yeah, he is good.
I heard somebody say that earlier that he's pretty good. Not good enough for the Texans though. They said,
Nope.
"See you later.
They do not want their quarterback being
We
protected.
don't need, we don't need you." Almost won the championship last year.
Yeah. All right. Now for the next question I have for you.
Yes.
Which NFL team has never selected number one overall?
Another good question.
And
Never
it's,
selected.
yes, and it's 3 teams on this one tied.
So 3 teams have never picked number one overall.
Yes, which is crazy to me, actually.
Yeah.
And one of them actually surprises me a lot.
Yeah, I don't. Man. Hmm. I'm thinking of like teams that have always kind of been good, like just are just not bad enough to select number one overall. I don't know
I'll
why, but I want to say the Steelers might be one of them.
incorrect. I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
2 out of the 3. Well, first off, they're all animals for a
Okay.
name,
Yeah.
and then 2 out of the 3 are birds.
Okay. The other 3 are birds. So I'm gonna, gosh, the Ravens
Okay, that's one. Baltimore Ravens.
never selected number one. Okay, and then kind of blinking on bird teams, but I'm gonna go with Atlanta Falcons. I don't know. That's the only other one I can name.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Is
It's
that correct?
Seattle Seahawks,
Okay.
which I don't know. For some reason, I'm surprised by that. And then we have one more team that I'm even more surprised by,
Never picked number one.
and it is a well-known franchise.
Okay.
It's in a state that you like a lot, Trey.
Okay.
At least I think you like it.
Uh, do I like it? I think it's the Broncos.
Oh, yeah, I can sense you're smiling behind the microphone. That is correct, sir. Denver Broncos.
Okay.
So
Never selected number one.
yeah, I found that interesting. I actually looked that one up because I didn't think that was true. But if I'm not mistaken, because I was like, hey, they had John Elway.
Yeah.
Wasn't he picked number one overall? But apparently he got traded and he was drafted by the Baltimore Colts.
Okay. They
So,
traded him to the Broncos.
yeah. All right, next question. Which NFL team has the most arrests since 2000?
Most players arrested.
Yeah.
See, you
Well, just,
mentioned this question
yeah.
earlier, and I immediately thought of New England Patriots, and that's mainly just because of that one player. That I mean, I know Aaron Hernandez, obviously, but I don't know. Wasn't Greg Hardy on that team when he got arrested?
No, I don't think Greg Hardy was ever on that Patriots
Oh
team.
no, he just wanted to sack Tom Brady. That's right. No, that's. I know the Cowboys have had a lot of arrests just for, you know.
I'll let you know that the New England Patriots are 25th
Okay, so that was a
on the
pretty bad
list.
guess.
Yeah.
But they have to have had the biggest arrest. You know what I mean by when I say
Uh,
that? I
oh
mean Aaron
yeah.
Hernandez, that was
Yeah. R.I.P.
pretty huge.
The you said the Dallas Cowboys?
I did say the Dallas Cowboys, as I remember
Mm.
they had a run of arrests. Josh Brent got arrested. Michael Irving, of course, got arrested. That guy, that cornerback, Pac-Man
Hmm.
Jones, he got arrested.
Yeah. Dallas Cowboys are 15th on this list with 30 arrests.
Gosh.
And these numbers are pretty tight. Like the New England Patriots had 25 arrests. So it's pretty tight list.
Okay. Well. Okay, go
Think a little north. Actually, a lot north
a lot north.
for the number one overall.
Let's see. We got. I don't think it's the Packers.
Close.
This is the Vikings.
Yep, you got it. 57.
Gosh, 57.
Yeah, we got 57. And number two is the Denver Broncos at 56.
Okay, only by one, huh?
Yeah, just beat them out. And last place is the Houston Texans. So everyone at Houston, good job.
Yeah, that's surprising.
They just, get massages down there.
They do. They do like their massages. Oh my gosh.
Somehow
Like
the
over 100.
Eagles, yeah, a lot. Somehow the Eagles are 29th.
What do you mean somehow? I don't know what that means.
Well, you just figure maybe I'm thinking about the fans. I think I'm thinking about the
Yeah.
fans.
If we were to tally like fan arrests during a game or after in a
Yeah.
celebration, it'd be the Eagles.
I wish we could find that somewhere. That would be awesome, actually. I don't know if I could find that information, but that would be so cool to know.
Oh, they have to be number one.
Gotta be.
I mean, I don't see them greasing light poles in any other city except for Philly.
That's insane. But, they love it. So good for them.
Oh yeah. I'm so happy for them.
All right. So, last week we talked about the Tush Push. There's a lot of momentum building up with that. Apparently, it's potentially, sources say that there is a huge push to actually ban the Tush Push.
Mm,
Um,
like that.
but on another note about the Tush Push, we have a potential Tush Push stopper, an actual player, and not a rule change. I don't know if you've heard of this
Yeah.
guy, Trey, but he is 6'6", played for the Florida Gators, defensive tackle Desmond Watson. Just take a wild guess at how much this man weighs.
Desmond Watson, defensive tackle out of Florida. I'm gonna, tackle. I'm gonna go with maybe 330 pounds.
That's probably your average defensive tackle.
Yeah.
But this
He's
man is 464 pounds of all man.
gosh,
And a
that is a
little
big
interesting,
man.
it's a huge man, Trey. I mean, I'll put the picture up on the video. He makes a helmet look teeny tiny. It's crazy. And so he was not invited to the NFL draft, but he did have his pro day. If he is ever to be picked up by a team, let alone drafted, he would be the heaviest player in NFL history by 84 pounds. 84.
Oh my gosh. So he weighs, how much did he weigh? 460, is that what you said?
464 pounds.
And then let's see. Let me do some math here real quick.
That's like three of us. Actually, it's probably four of us combined.
Yeah. So that means the second heaviest player weighed what, around 380 pounds?
Yeah.
Gosh. 464. That's gotta be like sumo wrestler size.
Yeah, I don't know how much sumo wrestlers weigh, but this is a big man.
Dude, how can you play defensive tackle at 464 pounds?
Well, you're probably just a run stopper package for sure.
Just stand there,
Yeah.
just take up space.
But honestly, the most impressive thing is he ran a 5.93 40-yard dash. And
Okay. Light on his feet.
very light on his feet. And I don't have the exact uh, calculations, but apparently someone, way smarter than me did some physics. And apparently, if the amount of, I guess, momentum and force or I think they actually said kinetic energy. Like I said, I'm not smart, but they said that if you were to use the amount of force that he is moving. If he was I think 250-pound linebacker, he would have run a sub, I think it was a 40-yard dash, which is crazy.
That is crazy. I'm watching video of him right now. He's so big on the field.
Big
He
boy.
makes he makes all the other players look so tiny.
Did you see the play where he just picked the dude up and threw him?
I was about to say that. He just picked a guy up and threw him. Wow.
You don't see that happen very often.
He has to get worn out.
Yeah, he's not an everyday or ever down player for sure.
Oh, his conditioning has to be terrible. That's man. I'm gonna follow his career. I need to know more about Desmond Watson and what he does in the NFL.
Thank you. We'll when the season starts, we'll definitely keep tabs on him weekly.
Yeah, we're gonna make it a point to mention Desmond Watson during the
Yes.
season, once every episode. I hope he plays. I hope he plays.
Me too.
I was just out of curiosity looking up the weight of some of the bigger tackles that I remember, and the two biggest ones for me are Vince Wilfork and Warren Sapp, and they were both around 300 pounds. So
That's
not even
crazy.
close. Not even close to 464. And Vince Wilfork was a big dude.
Yeah,
Like
wasn't
you didn't
Warren
miss him when he
Snap
was
smaller?
Yeah.
Who was
Yeah, Warren.
he was a white guy. He played for the Baltimore Ravens when they won their Super Bowl in 2000, I think. Oh, what was that guy's name? He was a big boy too.
Man, I don't remember a ton of white guys from those teams.
Yeah, it's
Looks like Vince Wilfork played at 325.
Tony Saragusa.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the goose.
Yeah. R.I.P.
Oh, he died too. Yeah, dude.
Yeah. It appears he played at 330 pounds.
Okay. You're right. He was a big guy. Well, not even close to 464.
No, not even close. Oh,
You know who
wow.
played at 380? Who was the second biggest?
No, I do not.
See if I can find that.
There is a guy that was 350 pounds on the Baltimore team that won the Super Bowl. That is a big boy. He's from Texas too.
No, see, I see an offensive tackle that weighed 410 pounds,
That's
but
crazy.
that's all I got. Definitely gonna follow. I'm gonna set a Google news alert for Desmond Watson.
I like it.
All right, man. So that was good stuff. Good questions. I like it. Can't wait to see what happens to Desmond Watson. But real quick before we get off here, I wanted to mention. So the WNBA draft is coming up in about.
Well, that's a wrap for today's episode of the State of Football Show. Thanks for tuning in and breaking down the game with us. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and follow us on socials. We'll be back next time with more football talk, hot takes, and everything in between. Until then, keep the chains moving. Hutch and Trey signing off.